All right, everybody. Welcome back. Welcome back. It has been a hot minute since we did one of these, but our next show is officially coming up, so we're doing the first prediction stream since I want to say season kickoff back in January. So I'm super excited because we have a lot of big news to cover, and I mean a lot. Everything you need to know about the World Finals was just revealed, and like the previous prediction stream that we did way back in the fall before Glendale, we are once again joined by our good AZ friend, Deegan, Monster Jam fan 0311.
What's going on, Monster Jam fans? Back at it again.
So today we have a lot to cover. Like I was saying, for those of you who were not aware, there was a, what do they call the World Finals episode thing?
Oh, I don't remember off the top of my head. It was like the schedule announcement.
Yeah, it was some random, I don't remember what they called it, but they revealed everything. I really like the way they did this year, where they kind of revealed it all at once, because one of my least favorite things with how they typically do it is I feel like it drags on a lot to, yeah, I feel like it takes a really long time to just slowly reveal things, after a course of, oh, finally, I got this streaming thing to work. Over the course of a few weeks, I feel like it gets really, like, it builds anticipation, but it takes a while, so I like the fact that they kind of gave us all the information now, especially, seeing as I like to stream things like this, it makes it a lot easier to get that done as well. So, skills, high jump, LCQ, main field, track, we have everything we need to know, and I'm going to be, per usual, putting it all into a good old extremely bland PowerPoint, and we'll discuss me and Deegan probably each decision before we determine things. So I guess if we're going to start anywhere, we should probably start at the base of the entire show, which is going to be the last chance qualifier. And man, this is such a good lineup this year. I don't know who I'm going to root for.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, it's just crazy. There's two Team Throttle Monster, some Team Scream, Robbins is in here. I'll just go over the whole thing for those of you who haven't seen this yet. It's very packed. We have Mike Christensen, Matt Cody, Chris Kohler, Fernando Martinez, Tony Oaks, Triton Robbins, Ashley Sanford, MJ Solorio, Brandon Telechka, Cole Vennard, Devin Winfield, and John Zimmer Sr. Now, this is a very complicated thing in terms of what I want. Because, like, if I'm saying who I want to win, I would want Triton or maybe Brandon or even Devin to win. And I think it would be cool if Zimmer Sr. would win. But if I'm talking in terms of fairness, I think Cole, Devin, MJ, Matt, Tony, I think any of them should have been in the main field anyway. So I would be happy to see any of them win. I don't know. What were your opinions really with who's in the LCQ as far as who you would like to see win?
Well, I mean, like you said, the LCQ is just beyond stacked with people. I mean, yeah, it was a little crazy to hear Cole Vennard's name in the LCQ and a couple other big names like Tony, Brandon, even Devin. The one thing that the one thing that I was most upset about was Joe Foley not even getting a mention in the LCQ or even in the main field.
Dude, it was Joe, and it was Matt. I was really hoping Matt would at least get a chance since it's the anniversary, but neither of them even had an opportunity.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, I mean, we all know Joe should have been main field last year, but this season he just had a lot of issues, so I do understand why he wasn't given the opportunity, but obviously there's the fan side that really would have loved to see him there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, this is just such a crazy stacked lineup. I like that we're seeing a lot of repeats. Notably, we have Ashley, Tony, Mike, Chris, and Brandon. They were all in this last year. And so it's a lot more fun to kind of see them battle it out in the same competition, because it's almost like it's its own thing to look forward to. Because those are all drivers who haven't gotten their main field break yet, but, whoa, okay, you just fell over. But I know would all be really fun to see. And, I mean, it would be fun to see Cole or Zimmer Sr. throw it down again. But the thing with this competition is it is fully racing based, and that is why I want to move over to take a look at the track now, because who wins the LCQ is going to be 100% dependent on who can run this course well. So I have that track pulled up. Are you able to see what's going on yours? Are you near end there?
Yeah, I'm actually pulled up the stream here, so yeah, you're good.
Perfect. So, for those of you who haven't seen the stream, basically what's going on here is you see these arrows. I'm not going to play it because I don't want to get copyrighted, but essentially just following the cursor here. It starts at this, actually I might have cursor disabled, I don't even know, but it starts at this blue arrow on the pod. They take it up, so they go left off the blue pod, they will go up into the stands, come down, hit the racing lane, and then they will J-hook and do another mini lap back over the racing lane, but I believe the second lap around they don't go back up the stands, right? Only the first time? Or am I tripping? I don't remember.
If I remember whatever Scott said, I think they
they do go back up.
They go back up, yeah.
Oh, that's cool. Dude, I wish instead of using these arrows, they still use like the truck thing. So you could see what's going on.
Nice. That would have been nice.
But, I feel like that at least gives a general idea of what's going on here, so... evidently, this is a really tricky thing to figure out. So, I feel like the way this is set up, the drivers with stadium experience are automatically at a big advantage. So, we're looking at, Mike, Chris, Cole. I feel like they all have a much higher chance at being successful in this, because there's a lot of pretty wide corners that you don't really go up against in an arena, and those going up into the stands, it's essentially just a super tall berm, and I mean that's really interesting. I know we've never seen a track go into the stands, but we haven't seen a track where trucks do something like that since that one Bigfoot event like 15 years ago. I don't even remember what it was.
Yes.
Do you remember where or what that was?
Let me search it up.
I know they did one in Arizona, but that's not the one I'm thinking of. But yeah, there was one where it was like the origin of racing in the stands, and they did something similar to that, but Monster Jam and none of the drivers in this field have ever done anything like that, so it'll be very intriguing there. And I feel like that's really going to be the determining factor when it comes to this competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
So with that being said, obviously I would like to see someone like Triton or Tony, or I would like to see even Devin in there, but if we're being realistic, I really think if anyone, Mike has the best chance. And I know that's probably a bit of an out there pick, but Mike has been consistently fast on every single track he's been put on, pretty much for the past 3 years. I mean, he got Paperclip figured out pretty well, pretty quickly. And then what? He moved into the Series Red one that we had last year, where it was. Was it reverse Paperclip? Is that what it was called?
I think so. It sounds something similar to that.
On that one, I'm pretty sure he picked up a couple wins. This year, he's been on the... I don't even know what is this. No, I think this year's reverse paper. I don't really know. But Mike's been looking pretty fast this year, too. He's just been a really consistent racer. And the thing about him compared to every other driver in the LCQ is you can put him in any single racing course and he'll figure it out somehow. Even in Bristol, he made it all the way to the finals.
Mm-hmm.
So even though typically you'd think Cole Vennard's definitely the fastest driver out of this lineup, but I think just because of the fact that it's a new racing course and it's something new for these drivers to try, I think that's where Mike's advantage will come in. I also think the starting on the pod thing, that he'll have a bit of an advantage for that as well, because he's been doing a lot of starting on the pod on Series East, and also his truck seems to be set up a little better in the suspension for that kind of thing. That was a lot of talking. I'll let you take it away here.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Mike has definitely been the most consistent racer out of all the LCQ guys. Now, obviously, looking at this list, it's just beyond stacked with people.
It really is.
Obviously, there's so many people I want to root for. Obviously, if Zimmer Senior ended up winning this entire thing,
Zero complaints.
That would be crazy.
Zero complaints if he won.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I have no complaints if any of these guys get it. Honestly, everyone here rightfully earned a spot in this competition. Now, looking at the track, it is just it's bonkers. It looks like something straight out of Rings of Rods, like the
It really
last
does.
World Finals track. But yeah, I agree. Mike definitely would be the most consistent driver on this track. Cole definitely would be the fastest. If I had to pick like a dark horse contender for some reason,
Ooh, that's true. I didn't think about that.
my gut is telling me Tony for some reason. I don't know why.
He has a vengeance. I mean, he's been trying to get to the World Finals for almost 7 years now.
Yeah, I think the closest he's gotten is competing in the Double Down Showdown or the Young Guns.
He made it pretty close to. He might have made it to the finals in that. I don't really remember.
Yeah, something like that. But yeah, shoot, if like Tony ended up winning that, that would be awesome. Like you said, he definitely is coming out for vengeance. But let's look at a couple other guys. Triton Robbins would just be absolutely crazy. We love the Robbins brothers.
You'd love to see it, but I don't. Yeah, I see what you're saying there.
Yeah, I just don't think Triton has the experience for it. Devin Winfield is someone to keep your eye on. When I saw him in Tucson, he was just putting up consistent runs. Now, obviously, that's including skills and freestyle, but I mean, still, Devin Winfield is someone to keep your eye on.
Was it him or Cody that was on a pretty big racing win streak there?
Oh.
I want to say he was getting some good laps in, and I mean, his truck is really well tuned for racing.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, for Brandon, I'm not sure. I haven't seen a whole lot of Arena. Was he on East or Central?
I want to say it was East because he was with the Hall brothers.
Okay, yeah.
I'll check.
Now, I haven't seen a whole lot with Brandon. Now, obviously, that kind of hurts us being a fan, you know, when you don't know much about drivers. But, you know, yeah, Brandon, yeah, I'm curious. I want to see what his racing record is.
He did place pretty good. I mean, top 5, or top 4, more specifically.
Okay, there you go. But yeah, Brandon is someone to keep your eye on. MJ Solorio, wow.
I feel like if it wasn't racing based, he would be a good pick. But the fact that it's all coming down to racing is what has me so mixed up here.
Yeah, absolutely. And then we got Ashley Sanford.
Dream big.
She has a very high chance of winning this. She could shock me, but I mean,
everyone else could just crash and she'd just win.
Yeah, honestly, that's true. Everyone's engine could, you know, go boom, and yeah, she could win. But realistically, I'm not giving her a percentage chance of winning the LCQ.
Yeah.
Now, we already talked about Triton and Tony. Fernando Martinez, that is another very interesting pick. He's more into the skill side, correct?
Yeah, and I don't think he's ever driven on anything bigger than maybe like a Reno-sized track.
Oh boy, well, he may be out of his element here. I mean, obviously, kudos to him for making it into the LCQ.
Absolutely, he would have been a fair pick for Mainfield even.
Yeah, honestly. I'm not sure if he's got, you know, this. I mean, it all comes down to experience with Fernando.
Yeah, that's the thing with that makes last chance qualifiers so difficult is a lot of the times it's the bridge between getting to compete on a big floor or not, because generally if you're in an arena and you're in the LCQ, you probably haven't done mini stadiums. Although that does bring us back to why Tony is a good dark horse pick because of the international series.
That is, oh my, I didn't even, I didn't even realize that. That's such a good point. Yeah, Tony does have international experience.
And I mean, that does, even if it's not frequent, it still gives him a bit of an upper hand compared to someone like Ashley. Like, Ashley's only experience on a big floor, apart from Tacoma, is LCQ last year, and that's kind of the tale of many drivers like Brandon as well. That's exactly how it was for him.
That's right. That's right. Now, Matt Cody is also. I could also see him as a dark horse.
Same position as Tony, just about. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I completely skipped over Chris, but we'll get back to him. But yeah, Matt Cody, he, like Tony Oaks, has been in the Double Down Showdown a couple of times, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
It may have been World Finals 18 and 19. I think I remember seeing him at World Finals 19. But yeah, anyways, he's also a dark horse. Does he have any stadium experience?
Same thing as Tony. He's done a lot of international, but that's about it.
Oh, yeah, that's right. Okay.
And he's done a lot less.
Okay. So maybe he's like one tier right below Tony or something.
Yeah, I'd say so. He also just has a little. Tony stayed in this seat for about 4 years now, but Matt's just coming back to about a year and a half. So.
Yeah, that's true. And then we got the wild man, Chris Kohler.
Hey, I mean, I'm not sure if he counts as a dark horse, but he is generally a possibility.
Yeah, I mean, he does have that stadium experience.
And I mean,
I will say,
when you look at... Wait, hang on. I think I just noticed something, and this will benefit both Mike and Chris. Doesn't this track kind of just seem like a really upscaled version of what East ran for racing, in a sense? As in, they come off of a pod, they go into a berm, they hit the center ramp, they do 2 turns, and then they hit the center ramp again.
Wait a second, you may be onto something here.
I mean, obviously it's a little different, but generally it's the same pattern, and I feel like for both those East drivers, I think that's going to give a bit of a benefit in being able to figure it out faster.
Yeah, another thing I didn't even think about.
There's a lot to unpack with this. It's a very, very cool... Okay, I have my hot takes on everything that got revealed, including the track, but I will say racing is going to be fun. I mean, there's no denying it. This looks like it will be a fun racing competition.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, there's just like... I don't know. I mean, because... I mean, Triton does have big floor experience outside of Monster Jam, but I just feel like there's so much... He's trying to bite off a little more than he could chew, I feel like, in that perspective, with how much more experience these other guys have.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's so hard. I think I'm going to lock in Mike as my pick, but I'm still open to discussion if... I don't know, though. It's just so... This is such a stacked lineup.
Yeah, give me 1 second. I'm quickly texting somebody. Just continue talking for a second.
All right. I'll keep analyzing these for you guys here in the stream. Let's just give a brief overview of what everyone's done. Mike's stadium experience, he had a couple events before the pandemic, but really he came in 2021, and he has raced every single season in Monster Jam ever since, and in that time he has gotten an incredible racing record, which is why I really think he's the likely pick for the LCQ. Moving over to Matt Cody, he raced a lot in the Monster Jam arenas years and years back. Then, around the time of the pandemic, I believe, is when he switched over to full-time with the Vodders. And then by last year, he had been picked up in the International Series and then made his way to doing domestic events. Chris Kohler, he really started driving in 2021, but didn't really get into Monster Jam very much until the 2023 season. He has been pretty good and a pretty big threat ever since. He did have a World Finals appearance in 2023. Fernando Martinez, I believe this will be his first time ever competing in a stadium, so he might be at a bit of a disadvantage here, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Tony Oaks, I want to say, and this could be wrong here, I want to say this is his third time in an LCQ double down style thing. So maybe third time's a charm for Tony. He does have some stadium experience, particularly looking at the international series. Triton Robbins, he's done some, wow, my voice crack. We're just getting started and we're already going. Triton, you know, he has some big floor experience relatively running with the All-Star Tour, but this is really his first big break, so he might have some work to do. Ashley, she has raced at the World Finals in the LCQ before. Outside of that, her best benefit here, I would say, would probably be from racing in Tacoma, biggest floor she's done outside of the World Finals, except I guess Fargo. MJ Solorio, same thing as Fernando. He's definitely in a bit of a tough position here, but it'll be interesting to see what he can do. Brandon Toluchka, this is his second LCQ appearance. No stadium experience outside of that, but I think we'd all love to see him in the main field. Cole Venard, he has been doing this for a decade, and I'm shocked he's in the LCQ, but I've already ranted about all that stuff. Cole, very fast racer, several racing wins on the season, so he's definitely someone to look out for. Devin, he has done stadiums before. He came to my hometown in Glendale just last year. I can't say racing was his strong suit, but he definitely did show up and show out with his first stadium career backflip. And John Zimmer Sr., where to start with him? He has a star-studded career with Monster Jam, and I'm sure this year will be no different. That is everything to really unpack with this lineup and where some drivers will have advantages as opposed to others. Like said, I'm really locking in my answer with Mike, but I'll pass this to you, Deegan. What do you really think is the most likely outcome here?
Oh boy, well, I mean, you make excellent points about every single one of these drivers. Mike is probably the go-to pick here. If I had to rank like the top three guys, I go Mike Christensen at my one, confident. I go Cole Venard at the two, and then I throw Devin Winfield at the three for being like one of the most consistent drivers I've seen. And then as a dark horse, I'd throw Tony Oaks in there because he probably will be coming out for vengeance here.
Hey, third time's a charm. I mean, it's always possible.
Absolutely.
I will say.
And one other thing I will say, can't leave out Zimmer Sr. He does have all that experience.
Even if it's not likely, we would all love to see it.
Absolutely.
And I mean, hey, I am manifesting a Send It Series Stadium Series next year. It would be great. Just saying.
Yes.
Just putting it out there. Your third pick was Devin. I would say for me, honestly, you know what? I kind of like your picks. I'm gonna keep it at that. I'll keep everything exactly the way you said it. Mike, Cole, Devin, Dark Horse, Tony. I think those are all very valid arguments, and I think we'll move on with that.
Yeah.
All right. Here is a competition, the high jump competition.
Oh boy.
Not much of a competition. The thing I wish they did with high jump is, I wish they let the drivers start from wherever they want, because then it would actually be a trial of who's actually the boldest driver. But I will say, ever since Nashville, drivers have actually been putting some strategy into it, and it's been pretty fun to watch.
That is true. I remember, who was it? Last year, I think it may have been Ryan's run where he was kind of going a little bit sideways, but then whipped it back to the middle and had that pretty good jump.
Might have been him. I know Bryce did something similar because he ended up side slapping a little bit. But it was a very stacked competition. This year is looking no different. Let's run through this here. I don't know I don't know what they're called, like standbys or whatever. I'm just going to be naming it based on the base competitors because I find it unlikely that we'll have those fill-ins. So, in the high jump, we have Zach Garner in Wildside making his high jump debut. Bryce Kenny in Monster Mutt. I believe this is his third time? At least his second time. It's definitely not his first. He had the kind of the coolest wow factor out of high jump last year. Jim Kohler in Avenger. He has done every high jump, I want to say. I believe this will be his 5th time. Did he do it last year, or was it just Corey? I don't remember, actually.
No. I remember Corey did it last year, I think.
Yeah, okay. So this will be Jim's 4th time, though, so he has experience. Camden Murphy, Classroom Crusher. I know he was in 2023. Outside of that, I'm not entirely sure. Colt Stevens, Thunder Horse, of course, your reigning world champion in this competition. Ryan Anderson and Son of a Digger. He does have, I want to say, 2 world championships in this competition, unless I'm...
Yeah, I think it's 2.
Okay, yeah. 2 consecutive years of winning this, but he did get a break last year after Colt won, but Ryan's been looking pretty good all season. Kayla Blood, this might be her debut, unless she did Nashville. I'm not entirely sure, but I know she hasn't done this competition much, so it's going to be a little bit new for her. Bari, as well as I said for quite a few of these guys, he's not done a lot in this competition, but he'll be one to watch. I already have my mind made up of who I think will win, so I'm just going to let you speak first before I get my takes out there.
Oh, boy. Okay, so let's see what we got here. I'm going to look. Okay, perfect. So looking at the lineup here, oh boy, a couple things automatically jump out to me. The main thing is obviously you do have Jim Kohler with all the experience. Us being Monster Jam fans, I grew up watching him at all the World Finals. He would always send that truck, you know. So Jim Kohler definitely does have experience getting the big air. I would also say Ryan Anderson, because he is a 2-time winner of the high jump. He does put a lot of strategy into the high jumps, which definitely will give him a little bit of an edge over some of the other competitors. Of course, you got your reigning champion, Colt Stevens. He had a pretty good jump last year, I will say, seeing that in person. Zach Garner, a big Wildside fan. We'll get back to Zach here in a second. Kayla, I'm not so sure with Kayla. I was a little shocked to see her in the high jump.
Her over Cynthia was pretty crazy.
Yeah, Cynthia definitely deserved that. But, you know...
Think of it what you will.
Yeah, exactly. And then we talked about Jim. Camden is known for also getting some pretty serious elevation. So, he's also up there.
Glendale 2021.
Yep, Glendale 2021. And I will say, I do think he had the biggest leap at last year's World Finals.
That is true. Even if his run didn't last all the way through, he did. I mean, you're bringing up a point that kind of bothers me with this competition, and I don't want this to sidetrack you. I'll let you get to Bari, but yeah, you know, I'll bring this point up after you talk about Bari, because I'm gonna get on a tangent.
Okay, no, you're good. Just keep that in the back of your head. Okay, with Bari. Yes, I mean, he does have experience. I remember last year seeing his run, and it was a little lackluster. I mean, I expected a little bit more.
5 hits. Bari, I counted. He only had 5 hits.
Oh, okay. Well, there you go. So, with Bari, he could come back this year and put on a pretty good run. I'm not so sure. And then Bryce Kenny, I mean, he is known to also get some serious elevation there.
Absolutely. Taking it back to what I had to refrain myself from saying, and this was one of the things I was going to bring up ever since the start of this, ever since we were talking about Jim. The thing I don't like with high jump is that they all start in the exact same spot. And I know that's to make it more even, but here's the thing. At every point in history where there's ever been some sort of groundbreaking air, I mean, the 2 notable Leduc leaps, or Jim Kohler at World Finals 18, or, you know, something like even Camden last year. The only reason that they had notable jumps is because they were the only drivers willing to hit those ramps at that type of speed. With high jump, it forces everybody to do the exact same thing, and that takes away the one factor that usually determines who gets the best air. And that's why I find it weird as a competition rather than like kind of a almost a luck event, really.
Yeah, yeah. You bring up some excellent points. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, I don't know. Um, Unfortunately, with me saying that, I I gotta say, Jim doesn't stand a chance. I mean, again,
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I'd love to see Jim win, but every single time Jim is known for getting big air, it's because he's the one driver confident enough to actually hit a ramp at full speed. But we have seen year after year after year after year, the Kohler and CRC chassis never perform well in high jump. I think the closest
Yeah.
one ever got was third or fourth, but they are too heavy to where starting at the same spot is just too much of a disadvantage for them.
That is true. That is something also to think about with Jim there.
Um, Moving out of that, this competition as a whole has a lot to do with how trucks are set up. Um, this year, I think someone that you really have to look out for is Zach Garner because, sure, wow, we love Zach, whatever else, but the way he has his suspension set up is noticeably different from all the company drivers who have it relatively the same way. Zach's truck sits really low and soaks up the landings really well. So, because it's so low to the ground, whenever he goes full speed to hit a ramp, he loses less of the speed. Because when you have higher sitting suspension, part of your speed is being lost as the truck compresses. Zach's truck doesn't do that as much. And so when he gasses it at a ramp, pretty much all that inertia is maintained. And that's why Zach has had some of the most impressive sends this season. And I think because of that alone, I think Zach's going to have to be my pick here.
Honestly, I completely agree. Zach was going to be my pick for this event. After seeing his send at Glendale this past February, I think he had the biggest send of the entire event. It was either him or...
Honestly, Todd was up there.
Yeah, Todd.
Surprising everyone.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, after seeing what Zach did in Glendale and seeing what he's done this season, I would agree and pick Zach as the winner for the high jump.
I have a feeling the dark horse picks will be shared between us. I will say just what if you're gonna guess like maybe like a podium, who do you think you'll see on the podium?
Oh boy. Okay, so podium. Obviously, I'll have Zach at number 1. I wanna say I'm gonna put Bryce at my number 2, and then
Yep.
for number 3, I'm gonna say Ryan because he does have a lot of strategy when it comes to these high jump competitions.
I think those are all. I mean, you said pretty much the exact 3 I was eyeing. The one place I would consider differing would be maybe Colt being the 3rd place, just because, not be solely because he's the reigning world champion, because obviously in this particular competition that doesn't mean that much, but East has been really weird in that not a lot of drivers. I mean, Jim has hit the step up at full speed, and maybe Bari, but it's been a really weird season in that no one's really been using the jump for big air. And I think because of that, we've kind of underestimated some of these drivers. So I do think just to have one East driver in there, I'm going to put Colt as my number 3 pick.
Honestly, completely fair, and I agree with that. That's a good pick. I won't lie.
With only 8 drivers, it's kind of hard to have anything and consider it a dark horse, but because I mean, if we're saying dark horse, then obviously it's going to be Kayla because she's the only one that we haven't talked about really at all, but...
Yeah, that is true. That is true. I will say, out of all of these drivers, for some reason, Kayla just loves to... I don't know, like smash the throttle, I guess. She's always wanted the loudest.
Max wishes he was throttle.
Oh boy, that's true. Ain't gonna lie.
I mean, hey, I see what you did there. Sparkle smashed the throttle.
Yeah, did you like that? No,
Round of applause.
That was good. I hope the 5 people who are watching this, other than me, enjoyed that joke.
Don't worry, Dolphin Master was in chat. He might have seen.
Sweet. Hey, Dolphin Master, if you're watching this, did you like that joke, buddy?
Let him know.
1 to 10, how good?
Let him know. 1 to 10, Dolphin Master. How good was that joke?
Yeah, I'll pass it back over to you here.
Wait.
Anything to say about Caleb?
Just out of curiosity, do you remember who the secondary picks were?
For high jump, I want to say it was Tyler and Jamie.
You're right.
I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm gonna stick with what I have. I mean, the odds of either of them even competing is slim to none. So.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh boy, this. Apart from the fact that Jamie got in for no reason again, this skills lineup has to be the most skills. Yep. This has to be the most stacked skills lineup we have ever seen at the World Finals.
Yeah, I agree with you there 100%. This is tough when it comes to predictions, man.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but I think everyone can agree looking at this that I'm gonna feel bad to see Jamie's score compared to all the rest of these drivers.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, after seeing her skills run from last year, I mean, you know.
We're just looking at the statistics.
Yeah, absolutely.
See, here's the thing. Ryan, Weston, Armando, Blake, Tristan, Lil Zim, and Tyler, they all are great at combos, but really the ones I'm going to have my eyes on here, there's 2 ways to look at this. Because really, in both of the dry World Finals we've had lately, both world champions were more so wow factor skills than balancing act skills. That was the moon flip from Tom and the backflip from Armando. So this is going to go one of 2 ways. Either a driver is going to be really consistent or someone's going to do some crazy stuff and take the win. And so I think we are going to have to take a look back at this track here pretty soon before we really start making decisions. But first things first, I'm going to divide this field up actually.
Okay.
So looking at this, if we're talking raw skill, balance, getting it done, I'm going to say if someone's going to have a crazy combo-filled run, Blake, Tristan, Lil Zim, Tyler. It's going to be one of those 4. If we're going to see a crazy wow factor, I'm going to keep Armando in there, and then I'll say Weston, Ryan, and I think it would be pretty fair to say Tyler in there as well. And, I mean, Blake, dark horse for that type of thing too, but yeah, this event, or this competition, it seems like it's the do a skills move, but then get the best wow factor competition, and I'm not complaining. Wow factors are why I go. I love that. It's just a bit of a different perspective to look at this, and because it's not like a traditional skills challenge where you're like, okay, who's the most consistent? You're looking at, okay, who's going to innovate and do something we have not seen before. Tyler, Armando, I'd say Tyler, Armando, and Weston. They're kind of the 3 big ones to look at. We have Tyler, Superstar 2023, Armando, World Finals last year, and Weston, pick an event and he'll do something.
Yeah,
it doesn't matter what event.
That's true.
Before we proceed into predictions, though, I do want to take a look at the track because I feel like that's going to have a huge amount of influence here. So, let's see. It looks like these ramps ooh, I'm going to pre-fire something. Do you see next to the car jumps where there's the normal ramps that look like they have little lips on them? calling this right now. Tristan is going to do a moonwalk off the lip. He's going to nose pick it onto this straightaway right here. He's going to carry the wheelie to this ramp, and he's going to try to do a moonwalk combination. Just
Honestly,
a prediction.
That is a very fair prediction. I can see Tristan doing something like that, not gonna lie.
You know what, though? What are the opportunities on this track? Okay, I'm going to try to name everything that looks like it could be used here. There's the ramps next to the car stacks. Right next to the racing lanes, kind of straight across from the backflips, it looks like there's some little lips on those ramps. Of course, there's the step-up lip in the middle. And then, obviously, backflip ramps are always a possibility because of the tombstones and the maximum moonwalks that we have seen. So, there's a few opportunities for skills moves, but not really as many as I'd expect. But I guess you got to make it work for everything. So, I don't know. The one reason I bring that up is because you really have to look at where drivers will be able to get combos, and quite frankly, I don't see many opportunities except for what I just mentioned with Tristan. But I don't know. Looking at this track, what do you think we're gonna have to look out for in skills?
Oh boy. What you mentioned with Tristan, obviously that is a huge opportunity for combinations, and drivers like Tristan and Blake and Little Zim who specialize in the combos, that'll be something for them. Obviously, looking at the tombstones, some of the drivers that are good at them, I know Tyler's really good at tombstones. Who else is? I'm trying to think off the top of my head.
Something to mention, there are also backflip ramps straight adjacent to the ramps next to the car stacks. Straight across, there's backflip ramps. Probably won't have huge influence, but it's something to think about.
Oh yeah, that's true.
I'm just trying to point out every possibility here.
Yeah. I don't think drivers are gonna attempt to do anything with the car jumps. I'd be really shocked. One thing I will mention, there might be a little bit of room for someone to try bicycles.
I think that's definitely an open possibility here.
So, obviously, Ryan Anderson with his bicycles, you know, we've seen what he can do, you know?
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, other than that, I'm not sure. You know, these drivers are gonna have to get creative when it comes to this skills competition, 100%.
Sorry, you hear some typing right now? I'm trying to look up old Salt Lake City events to kind of see what the dirt looks like, because that also determines a lot of how well of skills moves you're going to be able to pull off.
Gotcha.
Okay, I'm analyzing. I have my thing off just because I don't want to steal this guy's video. I'm watching a video from someone called Hi, It's Michael. So if you guys want to watch a Monster Jam, go check him out.
Hi, It's Michael, guys. Go check him out, yeah.
Alright, I'm looking at Ryan's bicycle attempts last year. Pretty standard bicycle. Okay. He did do a side-to-side bicycle combination, so there's definitely enough grip to do... Oh, he did some sick bicycle action there. There's definitely enough grip to pull off some bicycles. I know some places are a little too slick for drivers to really get what they need to pull off a good bicycle. It's not looking like that's one of them. It looks like the possibility is wide open for some good bicycles. Just wanted to get that out there.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's something else to think about, you know?
Yeah. So, I don't know. There's a lot to unpack with this track and with this dirt, but it's really a matter of who can do what. And if we're talking about getting the best wow factor, there's not really a big opportunity for that with this track. So I'm running the assumption that whatever's going to win here this year is going to be just the most consistent one. And Tristan's been on a roll with those nose picks, so I'm a bit bitter in saying it, but I think Tristan's my pick.
Yeah, that right there is that's probably the main pick when it comes to a lot of Monster Jam fans. Like Jack, I'm also a little bit bitter when it comes to Tristan England, but that's another story for another time. But man, I mean, just like with like the LCQ, this is a stacked lineup for skills. If I had to pick someone, now for me, it definitely is going to come down to consistency. But if you want to throw in wow factor in there, my pick's going to be Weston.
Perfect pick.
I think he's got the perfect balance of consistency while including a Weston Anderson move. And there's been no shortage of wow factor moments from him this season.
You know what? That brings up something important that I wasn't really thinking about when I said my thing. Because I was thinking, like, you know, Weston never really performed well in this competition at the World Finals. But the thing is, I mean, 2022 was his rookie year. I don't even know if he was in it. 2023, it got rained out. Last year, the track was horrible, and he still made it work. So, I mean, realistically, I'm not opposed to a Weston pick. I'm just not sure where it, like, okay, if you had to throw out, like, a bit of a guess, what ramp or ramps plural would he use to get some sort of wow factor?
Oh boy, yeah. So looking at the track here, I don't know. For some reason, I picture him trying to do a bicycle, and it goes into like a Ryan Anderson kind of sidewall where he does save it. That could be considered his wow factor moment, and then maybe he pulls what you said Tristan might do, that weird combination, and that might be the consistent part of his run.
Well, I don't know if you've been studying Weston this year, but I like that you brought up the bicycle thing because, especially looking at like Tacoma and the bigger floors, he's got a bit of a new thing he does. I don't know if you've seen it, but he does a bicycle, gets it onto the sidewalls, and then does reverse sidewalls. If he pulls that out, the window's wide open for him to at least get up there, even if not the win, at least get up there in the standings. So
that is something I completely didn't think about. Yeah, that's right.
I forgot about it entirely until you said the word bicycle.
Yeah, and I mean, there's another side to this story here.
There's just so much going on with this lineup. It's like,
yeah.
All right, well,
golly, man.
I think just to weed out a couple things here, I think Armando's coming off of a big high in this competition that I just think it's not going to quite work out this time. There's kind of been a history of that. Tyler couldn't live up to expectation. Tom didn't really. And then I just feel like if that pattern were to continue, I don't know. So Armando, I wouldn't say, I'd say probably not him. Jamie, need more be said. Here's the thing. I love bicycles and I love sidewalls. Ryan had the coolest sidewall save thing I've ever seen in 2022, and I think it got like 3rd or 4th place. So
yeah, it's all going to come down to another thing that we need to keep in mind.
Ooh,
judging.
The experts. 80% of the judging goes to the experts. I don't know if that's just for freestyle. I know for freestyle, 80% for this event is going to go to the experts.
Really?
This might still be 50. Yeah, because of the 2-day thing.
Okay, that's cool. That's something else to think about.
Or it was 75-25 or something like that. But yeah, the experts have a lot more say this time, but that might just be for freestyle. But still, there is that to be considered. Oh boy. The panel of judges we have right now is Tom, Dennis, and Heavy D. And I could say immediately they're looking for the wow factor moves.
Oh, yeah, dude, especially with Dennis and Tom, 100%.
Dennis could care less about a good moonwalk.
He's looking for that wow factor.
And if Dennis is scoring Weston, I mean, hey,
Yeah.
there's always
that
that.
is true.
I don't know. Gosh, Weston getting a World Finals win would be so cool. Okay, here's the thing. I keep like wanting to say a name and then thinking, no, that's too generic. But you could say any name here, and you're like, well, yeah, obviously you think they'll win. Like, there's no bad pick other than Jamie.
That is true. That is so true. Now, when it comes to Lil Zim, he has been he is a skills-based driver, 100%.
Yeah, 100%.
I've seen the stuff that he can do. I'm not quite sure if that's going to translate over or transition over to this track. Now, I'm not like putting him down or anything. He is a phenomenal driver. I'm not sure if that transition from arenas to the big stage, I'm not sure how that's going to go.
Yeah, I 100% agree there. And specifically, I like that you brought up for his skill style because, yes, there's opportunities for combos, but the way that Lil Zim is known for combos is because he has the pod to keep going forward and backwards off of. The way these ramps are, you have to be completely straight, and if you get just slightly unstraightened when you combo it, your whole move has to come to an end by the time you set it down. But I want to say at independent shows, he's attempted tombstones, and they've gone fairly well. So there's always the possibility. But, oh, wait, he also had a very successful tombstone that almost won an event in 2023. I forgot about that. But, thing is, he doesn't really do wow factors and skills. Most of the times he has wow factors, it's ragged edge freestyle. His skills is very calculated, and there's not really any ramps that fit his type of calculated skills, kind of like you were saying. So you bring up a very good point in saying that.
Yeah. Who's someone else I can talk about? Let's see.
We haven't really said much about Tyler.
Do you want to say something about Tyler?
No. You sound like you had something interesting to say with this driver. You started saying something. I'm interested to see who it's about.
I was gonna say Blake. Something about Blake.
He attempted a moon flip last time.
He did. It went really bad, but he did attempt it. I'm glad he went for it because we had a very good reaction in our videos. I will say.
I thought he broke his back.
Yeah, that was a hard hit. If he attempts a moon flip and it goes like relatively well, that could be a wow factor moment.
He is like, I don't want to say he's a dark horse pick because it's the same issue with high jump. None of them are really dark horse picks because they're all valid picks to win. But the reason I would call him a dark horse pick is because you wouldn't expect him to do some sort of wow factor, but he would.
That's true. That is true.
So, I don't know. Because if you're like, oh, someone's going to do a crazy wow factor, you're going, okay, it's going to be Weston, it's going to be Tyler, it's going to be Ryan. You're not really going to think Blake. You're going to think Blake's being calculated. So, that's why I feel like he could be a dark horse.
Yeah, you bring up valid points about Blake, 100%.
I don't know, though. I mean, if you had to really try to get like digging into this track and what the possibility is for the winning combo, who do you think will get it done and where?
Who do I think? Golly. I'm also very, very bitter when it comes to this, but it is literally Tristan's competition.
This track is designed for him.
It is literally designed for Tristan. So if he doesn't pull any good combinations, I will genuinely be shocked.
He's a robot. He's going to.
Yeah,
that's not even a question.
I mean, we heard what Ryan said about Tristan. So
check in the boxes.
Yeah, that's true. I know he really is a robot when it comes to skills. Not gonna lie, he's not really an innovator. I will say
He's a do the same thing over and over. That's the issue that I think he'll run into with it being a World Finals.
That's true. He could. I mean, if this comes down to like overall consistency, I mean, Tristan's the number one guy for this. He really is.
Yeah, that's why this is so hard to like judge. Is in a normal skills challenge, it's consistency. In the two-wheel skills challenge with the World Finals, it's generally about the
wow factor.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
That's why this is so hard to do, but that's why I think someone who's in the middle, like Weston or Blake, is probably the best pick here.
Yeah. Personally, I'm gonna stick with my pick of Weston. I like it. Personally, hearing the name Weston Anderson as a world champion gets me hyped up. So yeah, we'll stick with Weston. I think he's got it.
Here, I'll share my list here. I'll say, and I'm not gonna bother. Yeah, there's no room for a dark horse here, but I'll say, just to keep your thing in here, I'll say Weston wins, Tristan second, Blake third. I think Tristan always gets high scores even when it's not innovative. I think Blake will try to innovate, but I just don't think it'll be able to top Weston. How would you switch your podium around?
Oh boy, honestly, I may completely agree with you here. I do believe Tristan will get a high score because that's just Tristan. Blake will definitely try to be an innovator, and you got to give him some credit for trying to be an innovator. It may not pan out like his moon flip attempt last year, but I mean, at least he attempted it.
Yeah, that's why I kind of have him in the not in between spot.
Yeah, I agree there. I do believe Ryan is going to attempt that bicycle, and it all comes down to if he can get those sidewalls in, that'll be a good wow factor moment. But there have been times where he does those sidewalls and he doesn't get the highest score.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we can say that with Glendale this past February. I mean, he did the sidewalls, but he didn't win.
Yeah. It's so hard to judge.
It really is, man.
I mean, is it crazy to not mention Tyler at all?
I don't know.
It's just like, it's so complicated. Especially the one thing to keep in mind, each driver goes twice and gets 2 scores, completely unrelated to each other. So it's going to be a matter of who will go out there, learn from their previous mistake, and then try to top it. I think if anyone's going to be able to do that, I don't know. The thing with Tyler is he is so good at correcting from his mistakes, but none of these other drivers, I feel like they kind of just do the same thing. So that's what makes it so hard to. You know what? I think our list is fair. I think we'll stick with our list.
All right. You do bring up some good points about Tyler, though.
Okay. This is going to be a crazy one. Now, the one and wait, okay. Should we bother with qualifying or should we just count it in with racing?
Probably count it in with racing.
That's what I was thinking to do. The one thing that makes the current state of World Finals kind of hard to predict for is the fact that the LCQ means that there's going to be some wild card that we're not going to know. And the thing that makes it even more difficult is that last year the wild card ended up getting 3rd place, and then a couple of years before, the one who won the double down was the one who won a competition. So that's going to make this a little strange, but we're just going to ignore that. Now that we're into racing, it's time to get back into hard analyzing this track and how each driver will perform. Since we have so many drivers to work with now, I'm going to kind of sector this out. So there's going to be I'm going to start with drivers who absolutely stand no chance on this track, at all. I already have some in mind. I'm sure we both know who they are.
Yep.
So.
Hey, did you cough there, buddy?
Oh no, sorry, Anderson. Gotta clear my throat.
Yeah.
Whoops. Oh, that zooms in both tabs. Apparently, that's fun. Gosh. Okay. Absolutely stands no chance. Well. Who has stadium experience out of this lineup? Everybody except 2 drivers. Who drivers am I thinking of?
I don't know, man. If anyone's watching this video, do you guys know who we're talking about, maybe?
I don't know. I mean, certainly there's no way Ryan would win, right?
No way.
Oh my god, nothing could be more ludicrous than saying Tristan, though.
Oh my gosh.
Tristan could never win racing.
Never. No. Tristan England racing? No.
Certainly not. No, he never won racing.
Yeah.
Oh boy, this is an interesting one. Okay, wait. First things first, I want to... Okay, well, I'm just going to get the 2 that we obviously are thinking of out of the way.
Yeah.
There's no point in even lingering on it. I want to bring up the drivers who rolled over in the racing course last year. With this track style, those berms are a disaster waiting to happen. I have to imagine they might try to build up. You see how there's like black dirt kind of surrounding them?
Yeah.
I have to imagine they might try to raise that up, but I'm trying to think about what drivers rolled over last year because the window's still open for them to roll over in a turn.
Yeah, that's true. I'm actually curious to see what drivers rolled over. I'm gonna go back to my video from last year.
I already have a few in mind. I know it was the first 2 I can think of right now is Bryce rolled over in the very first race, and Brianna, they both rolled it. Tristan might have, or he might have. I think Tristan was. He did?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like over the finish line, he won, and then he like slightly rolled the truck.
Oh, okay.
Barely.
I was thinking of whoever he was racing against then, because there was someone who rolled it while he was racing, but it must have been his opponent.
Yeah. I remember the race with Jim. He like hit a truck. The truck didn't flip, but I do remember Jim hitting a truck like at the finish line.
Interesting. I remember Zach and Adam collided.
Yeah, that's true. I remember that whole fiasco watching that live.
Oh man, I mean, there's so much to unpack with racing.
It really is.
You know what? You know what the crazy thing is?
What?
Jamie was the one who took out Ryan last year.
Really?
Yes, it was so bad.
I thought that was too tall.
It might have been.
Ryan.
It could have been. I just remember Jamie took out someone who absolutely should not have lost to her. I'm checking results right now.
Yeah, I want to say it was Corey Rummel, actually.
She made it through like 3 rounds. That's the bad part.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember me and Max were just flabbergasted.
Hold on, I gotta look this up because my computer's bugging. Whoops. Wow, I just looked up something non-existent. Why am I blanking? That's how you write it. Oh my god. Results. I got my Roman numerals all mixed up. Who did Jamie beat? She beat Weston. Wait. Okay, she beat Corey and then she beat Weston and then she lost to Too Tall.
Oh, that's right, because Weston had... He lost power in a turn, I think.
My favorite race was, who did Camden go up against? It was Camden and Armando. they were racing. Armando started falling behind, and Camden like started winning, and then Camden got stuck in first. And then when he hit the ramp, he lost front wheel drive, and then Armando almost hit him. It was insane.
That's true.
I don't know. Okay, I'm getting sidetracked here. Point is,
something funny to remember.
Point is, Jamie got somewhere, and I don't know how. But oh, okay. It's gonna come. I feel like a lot of it's gonna come down to this track.
Yeah.
I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna pull up Nashville because this track is really similar. That was 22. This track is really similar to the one in Nashville. In terms of the general racing style, so I just want to see who performed well. Okay, Jim did make it past round 1. Oh, Camden made it all the way to the final, so I think Camden's a fair pick here. Let's see. Kristen beat Tom Meents?
What?
What?
I'm sorry, what?
When did this happen? And Cynthia beat Tyler? What was happening at this event?
I'm so confused.
Wait, what else happened here? Cole Renard beat Ryan. I remember he made it to like the semis or something close to that. I don't know. Anyway. Gosh, this is just so hard. Dalton's been fast all year. Okay, I gotta say Mike. Mike's a freestyler. We all know it.
That's true.
I'm not even bashing him. He's just none of the Pags can race for the life of them.
It really is unfortunate.
But he has freestyle figured out, and his chassis even tries to stay together. So that's a step forward.
Hey, shout out Mike Pag, man.
Shout out his PEI that actually doesn't explode every time. Dude, I wish I had stats on everyone about like their racing wins and everything. I'm gonna have to say Brianna just because she hasn't done enough big floor performance. And
yeah, fair enough.
When did she roll it? Or when did she lose last year? She was out. Yeah,
she
round
lost
1.
To Tristan because she rolled it and they shut Tristan off, I believe.
Wait, no, Tristan was against someone else that rolled. Wait, hang on. Oh, Tristan was against Bryce. Brianna rolled against Armando.
Oh, gotcha.
Because I remember Bryce rolled in the first race and then didn't even try to save it for some reason. All right.
Gotcha.
We have, so if we're saying no chance, I'm assuming that's round 1. So what? That's 4 or 8 eliminations? 4, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so then our round 1 outs are Kristen. Here's the thing. This also a lot comes down to the bracket that we don't have, but it's fine. Oh, shoot. It's not a bracket.
Oh, it's the weird format.
That makes this such a nightmare. Because
what?
How the hell do you predict a winner for that? Like,
I don't know.
Because I mean, like, you can like, it's so bad. It's so awful.
It's so bad, guys. It's so bad.
There's like nobody wins in this scenario. I guess if you're just looking at a normal World Finals bracket, you're just imagining it as the top half and the bottom half. So I guess it kind of makes sense. It's just an awful idea. But again, that all comes down to what the bracket is. So this is more or less just saying who's gonna win and who's absolutely not gonna win. So we just did no chance. So now we'll move into low chance. So maybe like a 15% chance that they win. Kayla's not fast. Okay, who here doesn't have a racing win this season? Does I don't know if Zach has one.
I feel like he has one.
This has been a really rough year for him, and well, not like in terms of everything, but in terms of racing, he's not had his groove somehow, even though he won last year.
Mm-hmm.
Bryce just won racing. Tyler's been consistent, of course. Jim has made it to some finals, but he hasn't won, so I might have to put him at low chance here.
Fair enough. Completely agree.
Jim. Has Adam even won?
I feel like Adams won like a couple, maybe.
When was here? I'm gonna check when Blake was out last year. Blake Granger. Oh, he didn't even race last year, so that's kind of a hard comparison to make.
Oh yeah, that's true.
That was so unfortunate. I was really looking forward to his race, but dude, what a rough send off for Max D, man.
That was literally awful.
I don't want to say Blake yet, but I mean, I don't really. I guess Todd. Todd's had a rough year.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say Todd. Just, I don't know. He's had skills has really been his only strong suit. I don't think he has any racing wins on the season. Maybe one or two early on, but I don't know. Honestly, if I had to say one more pick here, I'd say Weston, because every time I've seen Weston be fast in racing, he was either driving Ryan's chassis or he was driving 35. But I've never seen him be fast in a stadium while driving his truck. So, honestly, I'll put him in low chance. I don't know. Do you think that's fair?
Yeah. I mean, you do bring up excellent points about Weston. That's so true.
It's hard to say.
I'm not opposed to it, personally.
I'll say Weston in low chance, but not no chance.
Fair enough.
I'm going to make another category called Dark Horse. So this is maybe like a 50-50 chance.
Alright.
Or like, no. We'll get to 50-50 later. I would say this is, no one's thinking of them to be a winner, but there's always the possibility, kind of based on their other performances, per se. Cynthia's won a few times this year. Honestly, Cynthia's a dark horse. I know it's crazy, but I don't know.
She does have a chance.
I'll put her as a dark horse pick. It would be. I just think it would be so. Imagine everyone's like Ryan's winning, or whatever. Bryce is winning, and then Cynthia. That I don't know. That'd just be so funny to me.
that would be pretty funny.
Camden's won a couple times. I'll put Cody as a dark horse because he doesn't have any world championships yet.
Yeah, I mean he's gotten very close a couple of times.
Ooh. I don't know if I want to put Dalton in dark horse, or if he'll go in a later category.
Ooh, with Dalton, I would put him one thing or the next tier above dark horse. I mean, he has his moments, so.
If I'm being honest, just looking at this track, I might save Dalton for a little bit later. I mean, a little bit, like a good amount after Dark Horse. We'll see. We'll see, though.
Oh boy!
This is a very stacked lineup.
Okay.
I'll put Blake as a Dark Horse. I mean, he's just hard to judge because he doesn't have that stadium experience lately. And you know what? Did anyone think Zach was gonna win last year?
No.
For that reason, Lil Zim is going in this category. Alright. Now we're moving into, like, a reasonable guess. So, like, statistically, this one would make sense to expect to win, but not like a prediction, per se. I'll say... Ooh, wait. Okay, I was gonna say Colt, but I think I'm gonna put him in low chance.
Yeah.
He hasn't been very fast.
Mhm.
Okay, let's see. I'll put. Zach is like his own cat. He's just not been fast this year.
Yeah.
But
I mean, we saw what happened at Glendale.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, that was, in fairness, he couldn't really control that, but I don't know. It's interesting. Again, this all comes down to what the bracket is, which is why I'm kind of guessing just based on odds rather than every single round out. Because in the past I did round out when, but that doesn't really work this year. But anyway, like I was saying, I feel like I can't put Zach in reasonable guess. But he's not a dark horse because he just won. I'm going to put him with Colt and low chance.
I like that. That'll work.
I think it's a well cut out track for him, but he hasn't been doing great at driving. Like, I think the reason he was so successful last year is because it was a very technical track. But when it comes to just being a fast driver, I feel like he's not as strong in that category. So I'll put him as a low chance. Back to reasonable guess. Ooh. I don't know. Armando might have to go in low chance too.
Oh yeah, he's someone else I completely forgot about. Oh man.
He made it to round 3 last year. Not sure how his racing record has been this year though. I don't think he has any wins.
I don't think he does either. Yeah.
I'm gonna put him with his buddy Colts then.
Why not?
I think, what, that's 7 in low chance, which I think that's just about as much as would be eliminated in round 2. So I'd say that's a fair amount there.
Yeah.
Back to reasonable guess. I'm not gonna say Camden is a prediction, but I'd say he's a reasonable guess. I don't see it being Ryan, but I say he's a reasonable guess, but I'm not gonna be that one person that just guesses Ryan for every competition every year because we all know that's not how it works.
Yeah, kids, don't be that person.
Just because they're the most popular doesn't mean that they're always gonna do the best. Oh gosh, dude, Tristan's been so consistent. I'm gonna put him in the podium tier.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
okay, wait. I'm getting conflicted here.
What are you conflicted about?
I don't think Adam is necessarily... No, actually... Well, Adam's not reasonable guess. He's not dark horse. He's gonna have to go into low chance.
Golly, yeah.
He's been so slow this year. I'm sorry, but like... That's not the Adam we all know.
That is not the Adam Anderson we know.
Just for that reason... He's gonna have to go in low chance, but not no chance. So, low chance is now filled. That's all 8 drivers. We already have all 4 in no chance, 4 in dark horse. So what? That's 16. So that leaves us for 4 in reasonable, or I guess 5 reasonable guess, 3 in podium.
Okay.
So we can do 3 more in reasonable guess, and 2 more in podium. So who does that leave us with? That leaves us with Bari. Bari, do we already... Yeah, where is it, Cynthia? That leaves us with Bari, oh wow, everyone's up here for some reason. Bari, Tyler, Bryce, Dalton, and Ryan. Or we already said Ryan.
Yeah, we said Ryan already.
Oh, the LCQ.
Oh.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the LCQ has been pretty interesting lately as far as somehow getting all the wins goes. So, I don't know. That'll be interesting to see. I don't know. I think Tyler. Tyler's gonna be a reasonable guess, but I'm not gonna put him in that top slot.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think this track is Bari type of thing, but I mean, he still goes into the reasonable guess category regardless.
Mm-hmm.
So we have Dalton. What is it? Dalton and Bryce are the only two that we can still do here.
Do we do Camden already? Oh, no, he's in reasonable guess. Got it.
I will say, since we have the LCQ, we could move one. If we don't want to put both Dalton and who is it? Oh yeah, and Bryce. Okay, I feel like Bryce should be reasonable guess, but not podium. He's been fast, but I don't think he's been probably gonna win fast. And I just don't think this is kind of his style of track. But as said, I saved Dalton all the way until this point because, I mean, look at the track. It's got that really big berm. Dalton is great at berms, and I said the things about East earlier. This is very similar to the track East has been dealing with, and I think that will give him a big upper hand here. And his truck, this is kind of what I was saying about Zach with high jump. His truck is tuned really well to where I think it'll give him a bit of an advantage here. I gotta say, and he has quite a few wins, I'm putting Dalton in the podium spot.
I mean, I'm not opposed to it either. I mean, shout out Team Throttle. We love those guys.
I can't tell if that's too much. You know what? No. The whole point of this is to give my hot takes, and that's my hot take. So I'm not gonna think it's too hot of a take. I think it's a pretty fair take, but
I like it.
You know what? Sure. Dalton as my podium pick for racing. I'll leave a podium spot open because if Mike wins the LCQ, I'd put him in the podium for racing too, quite honestly.
Yeah, he is one of the most consistent racing drivers.
Well, that leaves us with everyone's favorite. And this one's going to be a fun one to discuss because of this track style.
Oh boy, yeah.
Well, we know who's going in No Chance.
Do we even have to say their name?
Whoa, wait, there's an issue. There's an issue. Jamie's going to get a good score because she's going to do 2 backflips again.
Oh my, that was so stupid.
Dude, and then okay, the other day, I posted something on my story or something about how I thought it was a little bit obscure that Jamie was back again after her poor performance last year, and someone messaged me and they were like, dude, she literally did so good last time, I don't know what you're on about. Her run was quite honestly worse air than you would see in an arena, but there were 2 backflips, and one was unsuccessful. That's all it was.
All the run was.
There was no value. That bothered me so much when they said that.
Yeah.
The thing is, freestyle is such a game of luck that you can't I don't know. Well, again though, that comes back to the track. Who's gonna make this track work? Who's not gonna make this track work? Okay, well see, this ramp, or this track in general looks like it's kind of transfer based. Like your jumps are going to be transfers most of the time, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to be bad at doing that? That's the thing. I would say I feel like Todd's going to go big for one more World Finals. I don't know.
Yeah, if the rumors are true, I don't know if they're true or not.
Keyword if.
But yeah, if we can play the what if game, I do think Todd may have something in store for us. I don't know what it could be, but Leduc Leaf 3.0.
if they let, whoops, I just started scrolling for no reason. If they let drivers go up into the bends for freestyle, just saying, if he wants to go out with a bang and the rumors are true, just saying.
He should do it, man. He totally should.
Doors wide open. Root you on, Todd. That's why this is so... Okay. I'll say Armando is a pretty low chance here.
Yeah.
He's a great, consistent driver, but here's the thing. There's consistent drivers and there's consistent at winning. I'd say Armando's consistent, not consistent at winning. I don't think he even has many wins on the season.
Yeah.
Yeesh. What else we got here?
I kind of want to say Little Zim, too.
Really?
Yeah. For some reason, I want to, because, I mean, he's put on excellent freestyle performances. I don't know if that transition from arenas to stadiums, I just don't know. It's so hard to predict with people.
The only thing that I'd say I can fairly combat that with is independently he does a lot of big floors. I'm pretty sure last year he was king of Miami and he did a huge big ascend of the event, transferred it onto a bus stack or something. Every time I've seen Lil Zim on a big floor, the air is uncomparable to every other driver in the field. The only downside I've seen is for some reason in Kansas City, his Monster Jam Stadium debut, his truck decided to every single one of his planetaries broke for no apparent reason. But I feel like if his truck holds up, he really has a good chance. And there's a lot of room for flow on this track. That's what makes this so difficult. Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I know an easy one. Tristan England. I'm sorry. This is not Tristan. This is not Tristan's competition.
Nope. I will genuinely be shocked if he wins this.
Ooh.
I will.
Wait, I wish they listed who's competing when, because I have a feeling that
I feel like they did.
Well, they have it listed, but not on the website. I have a strong feeling that these Saturday night freestyles, or I guess the Saturday freestyles, will be more powerful than the Friday ones will be.
Yeah, because the Friday trucks still have to race the next day.
Exactly. Okay, let me see. It might be on the wiki.
I'm gonna check my good old pal Monster Talk because I feel like he said something about it.
Oh, he did. I just don't.
Yeah.
I don't want to be. Oh, here. Wait. Nope. What? Oh, that's just for the results later. Well, it's not on the wiki, but I know they. If I pulled up I'll pull up the selection show just so I can find the one screenshot.
Modern look.
Oh, add
Thick,
time.
absorbent
Add
layers.
break.
But these napkins aren't just elegant. They're
feel like
surprisingly affordable. And
I'm gonna
perfect
say
for Wing
Cody. I
Wednesday.
think he's gonna be a good
Vanity
dark horse
Fair.
pick.
Elevate every day.
I like it.
Everyone says
Mike's
trust your
gonna be
gut.
one to talk
It's
about
nice that I'm
because I
their
don't know if
go-to
this is
guy
really
for
a
big
Mike
decisions,
track.
but
We'll
no.
get to that in a
Everything you
minute.
need.
Let's see here. Saturday freestyle roster is where?
They had a lot of good drivers going on Saturday, from what I remember.
I want to say the Friday freestyles. Wait. Oh, okay, wait. Oh no, Saturday freestyle's kind of bad. Or wait.
Am I thinking of Friday then?
Yeah, the Friday freestyle is gonna be a lot better, I think. I'm looking at
6:30 p.m.
I'm supposed to be looking at
We
this.
start.
Okay, for some reason it's in 180p. I'm looking at the Saturday freestyle roster. It's not terrible, but it's definitely not as good. It's Tristan, Tyler, Bari, Blake, Armando, Adam, Dalton, Todd, Brianna, Colt, Jim, and Kayla.
Okay.
But the other one has Weston, Ryan, Cody, Bryce, Mike, I think Cynthia, Lil Zim. I think Friday Freestyle. This is what I mean. All the drivers that I think would win are all performing Friday, which makes it more difficult because if they're going Friday, then they would probably not want to drive as hard. They put so many layers that make this so hard to judge.
Yeah.
Ugh. Okay. Well, here's the thing. I think Cody's competition is kind of racing, and he's freestyling on Friday. I think he'd be most likely to try to preserve the truck. So I'd say Cody, no chance, just because of that one fact. I think he's a great freestyler. I just don't think he's going to want to push the truck all into that one competition.
Yeah.
Gosh, who else is Friday? Zach's Friday, yep. No, there's no way.
I want to say Brianna.
Yeah, I was gonna get to her. I wouldn't put her at no chance, but just because of her performance in 2019, but also that was a while ago. I'll put her at low chance. We'll say Brianna. This is a very momentum-based track. She's more of a wow factor-based driver. So I think she'll struggle because of that. Because also, this track is not set up for you to just be able to hit something and move to the next hit. There's a big open area, so you have to be ready to hit a jump, get on the gas, and get that turn back around for another full send. You really can't have any moments to sit around, Tristan, so you really have to just be on it at all times here.
Yeah.
I have one concern.
What would that be?
Mike's truck loves getting hiked up in turns, and that's got him some great saves this year, but this is a pretty small floor. I wouldn't be surprised to see him go into a turn and the truck roll over and him get shut off for being too close to a barrier. I don't want to throw him out yet, but he might have to go in, I don't know. I mean, because 8 drivers go in low chance, which is quite a bit.
Yeah.
Let's see. Camden, he's a Saturday freestyler. Or sorry, a Friday freestyler. Jim's going Saturday. I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, that's true.
I might have to say, yeah, I gotta say Adam. This has not been his year.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because, that's not the Adam Anderson we know.
Same thing goes for Todd, but I mean Todd at least has a reason. Adam's not really talked about it yet, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't want to say it, but Weston has the most diabolical luck at every World Finals. It never goes well for him in the freestyle competition, ever.
That is so true.
He's not a dark horse, but he's not likely, so I'm going to have to put him in low chance. Because he cannot get that truck under control at the World Finals for some reason. Cynthia's had wow factors, but I don't know if it's winning level. Like, Birmingham was really strong. I can't tell where... I might save her for Dark Horse. We'll see. Gotta be honest.
With Cynthia.
This has not been Dalton's year for freestyle. I'd say racing. I already gave him a really high ranking in racing. So I'm going to put him down here in freestyle. I'm going to put him low chance. Thing is, he'll get good air. He won't get wow factor. And that's kind of essential at the World Finals. Although Dalton is going Saturday, so something to keep in mind.
Gotcha.
Camden is a day one freestyler. He's not a dark horse, but this hasn't been a great season for him. I might have to put Camden in low chance.
Man, you see, if I had to pick a dark horse, my pick would be Camden. But you bring up excellent points that this has not been his season for freestyle.
That, and I feel like so many people would say Camden that he wouldn't even be a dark horse at that point because people would already expect it.
That's true, and so if he underperforms,
yeah,
for that reason, yeah, I agree. He should go in low chance. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, we'll come back to low chance. That's kind of what we did last time. I want to think of dark horses here. And when it comes to this specific one, I want to think of drivers who aren't hot topics in freestyle. I'm not going to say Mike because everyone's talking about Mike's freestyles. So, this is why I saved Cynthia. She has had some great wow factors. I'm just going to say it. Birmingham, she had a great save. She's always been known for great saves, crazy crashes, and a lot of people sleep on her air. She has great air.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. Big thing to consider.
What?
We have to think about who can land backflips without breaking the truck.
Oh.
Because
that's right.
with it being the World Finals, you have to be able to land multiple. And, oh, I forgot to place Jamie. She'll go in low chance. You have to be able to land multiple, and you have to be able to land them well. Generally speaking.
Yeah.
Honestly, solely for that, I might move Tristan to Dark Horse.
Oh, crap, yeah.
When have you ever seen Tristan have a bad backflip?
Yeah, he
Except last year, I guess.
Well, actually, yeah, that's true, last year. Yeah, he is very consistent when it comes to the backflips.
I guess Cynthia's kind of not, but I don't know. I want Dark Horse to kind of be fun in the case of who has the best wow factors generally.
Yeah.
Ooh. Jimmy's not a dark... Blake? Yeah. Dude, I know his run last year was awful, but his international air that he gets is insane sometimes.
Yeah.
I want to say it was Melbourne or something in like 2023. I don't really remember where it was, honestly. He had some crazy air, and he's had some great saves. So not to count him out at all. His saves this year, definitely if he can bring that to the World Finals and the officials aren't annoying, definitely a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Jim is an awkward one in that he and himself is a likely winner, but only when his truck actually holds up.
Yeah.
Because he's had amazing freestyles like Detroit or Houston, but like lately, the past two events, it was like East Rutherford and Pittsburgh, at both shows, he was about to get great saves, but his truck just decided to fall apart. That's what makes freestyle so hard to determine. I will say though, just because of the fact that he's a Saturday runner, I'm gonna put him in high chance.
Yeah. You never know with Jim Collard. You could pull a rabbit out of his hat.
Last year it wasn't a great rabbit, but it's fine.
Yeah, he went over really early, and I personally think he got underscored, but you know.
The track also just sucked.
Yeah, it was great for racing, and that is just not a freestyle track.
Ooh. Okay, well, the odds of Colt going over on a backflip, or like not going over, but having a rough backflip, are high, but I think the fact that all the backflips are aimed to where the trucks will land towards the middle of the track, I think that'll at least allow him to have an opportunity to save it. Cause he's a world champion, I won't put him as a dark horse. I'll put him as a high chance though.
Yeah, I agree.
Coming down to the wire here, I would say we got room for one more dark horse. The thing is, so many of these drivers were already expecting them to kind of send it. Bari has a plethora of wins. You know what? I'll just say the other LCQ driver. Because we don't really know who it'll be, but I feel like that's kind of what the whole point of Dark Horse is you don't see it coming, so...
Yeah, why not? Yeah, exactly.
You could see 2023 all over again. Okay, so now it's just a matter of who is going to be high chance and who's going to be, like, podium. I'm not putting Mike podium in his first showing, but I'll say he's got a decent chance.
Yeah.
Ryan's been podium every single year recently, so I'm keeping him in there. That's not even a biased pick. Like, from every single World Finals since the pandemic, he's placed podium, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, he got second last year, I know that.
Second last year, I want to say second or third 2022. The only one I'm not sure about is 2023, but I know he had a pretty good run there, so I wouldn't be surprised if he did good there too.
Yeah.
I'll put... Well... Oops. This is weird. I don't want to say Lil Zim is a high chance, but he's not a dark horse because people see it coming.
Yeah, he goes... Yeah, this is... Yeah.
That's why I don't like this ranking system I made. I don't know.
Yeah.
We'll work around him for now.
Okay.
We have Tyler. Tyler's not winning back to back, but I'll put him in high chance.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think he will be winning back to back, but he definitely does have a better chance than Cynthia or Tristan, I will say.
I gotta check something here. How did Bryce do in 2022?
Bryce.
Dude, Bryce has been doing awful year after year after year. He's gotta be his break, certainly.
Oh, yeah, especially with, like, the way he's been performing this season, he definitely deserves to go up there.
But the question is it high chance or is it podium? That's the difficult part. I don't know.
If I'm going out on a limb, and if I had to pick someone to win, I truly think this is the year that Bryce Kenny finally gets over that hump.
I'll put him up there. I'll put him up there. It's a hot take, and I don't want to be too generic, but I mean it's a perfectly fair take. That's the thing.
Yeah. I was rooting for him last year to get that freestyle win, and he went over way too early. He didn't crash, but I think
they shut him off for a flat tire.
Yeah.
But they let Kayla run this past weekend, so I don't even know.
Yeah, who knows what the officials are planning, you know? Who does that leave then?
I'm trying to think of where Bari's rate is freestyling Saturday, but the thing is, all of Bari's wow moments are sheer luck, so I'm gonna put him in high chance, not podium.
Okay.
That leaves us with the fan favorites of this entire show. The two fan favorites. We got Zach, and we got Lil Zim.
Yeah.
Oh, gosh. I don't want to, like... Let's see. Should I put Zach podium and make it all Stadium West?
I mean, I personally think Stadium West has had the better freestyle runs, but I mean, then again, Stadium East has definitely had, their fair share of moments, but I I mean, yeah, I like Zach at the podium.
Looking at this track, it's so complicated to kind of figure out what they're going to do. But purely because of the fact that there's a lot of transfers, I think the West drivers have the upper hand. Only downside for Zach is he's freestyling Friday.
That's true.
Ooh. Ryan, Zach, and Bryce are all Friday. So there's no way they're all placing podium.
I mean, you never know, man. Crazier things have happened.
What if I do something crazy? And what if well, I don't know.
What if Kristen wins freestyle, you know?
Triple front flip!
Yeah, now we're just... Yeah, now we're in fantasy land here.
This is like... Oh, God. Okay. Well, here's what I'll say. I was considering switching Zach for Jim and putting Jim podium. Here's the thing. Jim's gonna do something stupid, and it's either gonna go really well or it's gonna go really bad.
Really bad. That's true.
It's gonna be like what he did at the All-Star, or it's gonna be like what he did in 2017. And it's all up to luck.
You could even say what he did in 2015 as well.
Well, yeah. He didn't really get that much. Well, that one went pretty bad, honestly. That looked like it hurt.
Yeah, I mean, you landed, like, right on the back end of the chassis.
And then he did the same thing in 2022 as well.
Oh, yeah, that's right, he did.
The fact that he's done that many times and never took a day off is insane to me.
Shout out Jim Kohler, man. They call him Mr. Excitement for a reason.
Dude, anniversary's coming up, man. That's going to be one to watch.
Yeah.
What year will it be? What, 2028 or 2027?
Because he just had his 20th anniversary was 2017. Yeah, 2 years.
Wow, graduating year. I'll see Jim Kohler. Anniversary.
Now the question is, what paint scheme will he have for this World Finals? And no, we can't say stars and stripes, although I really hope it
he
isn't.
will. It won't be the same one, but he's gonna do something American flag for sure.
Yeah. Hopefully not like World Finals 20.
I think I really liked that design, but he's gonna be creative. Like, he's not gonna... Yes, he's gonna probably do something sort of similar, but there's not a chance he'd do something the same. He's never done that before, unless running bodies for the season.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, what? It's been 15 straight years of him always doing something new?
Yeah. Because he first started
close.
doing it in 2004, I think.
Was it really?
Yeah.
Oh, so probably like 17 straight World Finals then. Because they had a little gap. Yeah, that would be exciting to see. So,
What the heck? Just put him on the podium. I like it.
Alright, we'll say Jim podium, because whatever stupid thing he does will go well. Zach high chance. I'll switch LCQ into low chance, just because that's only happened once ever before. And I'll put Lil Zimin as a dark horse, since it is kind of only his second Monster Jam Stadium event.
Yeah, I like that.
Alright, so, quick recap. Mike wins LCQ. Zach wins high jump. Weston gets skills. Dalton gets racing. I'd love to see that.
That would be something.
And then anywhere from Ryan, Bryce, or Jim would get freestyle.
Yeah.
I'd say that sounds pretty fun. I don't remember. Did I do something like this last year?
I'm not sure.
Hold on. Let me see. How do I search? How do I search what I've done in old documents? I don't want to find Microsoft apps. I just want to find old documents. Okay, here. World Finals. World Finals lineup predictions. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, this is probably awful. Wait. Oh. Oh, well, this was so wrong. Oh man, I thought we were gonna see John Gordon, Joe Foley, and Charlie Pauken or Ryan Disharoon, and Chris Kohler, and Matt Cody. Oh my god, we could not have been any further off that year.
Well, what year was that?
Last year.
Holy crap.
We were horrible.
Jeez.
Not even close.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't think I did do predictions last year. I think I did the lineup that I just read, but I'm looking, and I think the last one I did was Nashville, which I thought, what the hell? I thought Nick Pagliarulo, oh, he was a dark horse. Okay, wait, I said Ryan would win high jump 2023, I was right.
Okay.
Could not have been any further off with saying Tom would win skills. But I did say Tyler had an upper hand. And I said Ryan and Lil Zim were not going to win. Let's see. I said, wow, racing, I could not have been any more wrong. I said Adam, Todd, Tom, or Cody would win. And I said freestyle would be Tom, Ryan, Chris, or Tyler. Well, hopefully this year's predictions go better, because I'm honestly pretty passionate about a lot of these drivers. So, dude, imagine 3-time world champ for Jim. We'd love to see it. But, hey, you never know. Even though we all have our fair share of takes, including myself, on this whole World Finals, I think there's still a lot of potential for a good event in general. But all these drivers are going to need to be able to throw it down. And I think a lot of it's going to come down to how well these trucks can hold up with how cool this track is. But the thing is, this track is one of those things where there's going to be a lot of casing, and that's going to lead to either wow factors or breakage just based on their luck that day. But we'll see. This has been very fun. I love doing predictions, and I'm very excited. You know, even though this has not probably gone the way most people expected it to in terms of lineup and whatnot, the World Finals is my big break with monster trucks each year, so I'm very excited to see how things go. This track looks like lots of fun, especially racing is going to be great this year, I'm sure. This is going to be a good one. What are your biggest hot takes that you want to kind of close out with here?
Oh, God, where do I begin? Let's start off with the biggest one. What is Kristen Anderson doing in the main
place?
field? Like, honestly, guys, like, oh, we get that she's an Anderson. Dude, she got 5th place, and none of the second-place drivers that finished second on the tours are in the main field.
Can we talk about how her Instagram post actually pissed me off? She went, that's right, we made main field, like it or not. Do not act like you earned this spot.
She did not, bro.
You did absolutely nothing, and you got here anyway.
Yeah.
Anyone. I would have rather seen Kurt.
Go Kurt Kramer, man.
Here's the thing. I would have had more fun watching Kurt. Like, I would have had more fun jokingly watching a Kurt freestyle. Kristen's run is just going to be annoying because I'm going to be waiting for it to be over.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, there's that. I mean, what else is on your mind?
I mean, obviously, a lot of fans out there are upset that Joe Foley didn't make the main field or even LCQ.
G.I. Joe.
Yeah. I do get that last year he definitely had the better season. But, I mean, you know, G.I. Joe, man.
One can only dream of a G.I. Joe World Finals. Hey, I feel like, though, Mike had a really similar season this year, and I feel like if he can carry that energy, he's kind of had, like, I've compared Mike's season this year to Joe Foley's season last year. Very freestyle-based, winning freestyles a lot of the time, and getting most of the notable wow factors per event.
Yeah, very similar storylines.
So I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. I agree a lot with the Kristen take. I have a very similar feeling with Jamie and Kayla. I don't think Jamie should have ever been in skills. Kayla in high jump's a little questionable. And like, okay, the thing that makes me seem like a bad person for saying this is that every name I've listed is a female driver. But like, talking purely statistically, they're the ones that are the problems. Why is Kayla in over Cole? And why is Cole in LCQ? And why is Jamie in over all the second places? I just don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, you won't hear me complaining about Brianna, because Brianna actually deserves it.
Oh, yeah.
And Cynthia.
Both of them deserve it, 100%.
Ashley deserved it more than Kristen, quite honestly.
Now, okay, if someone's watching this video and they heard that, they'll probably consider that a hot take. But for me, we both know that I agree with that for reasons.
Well, one reason or another. Because a good agreement for all the Zona fellas, I guess.
You know what? Yeah, Max isn't here, but I think he would agree with that.
I think he would agree that Ashley should have been there. Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know.
Wait, where's the 8-pack? Mini
I
flip.
don't know.
I don't know.
Somewhere.
Well, racing looks exciting. Track has some potential, but it's really going to come down to how well the drivers want to perform. It's a great lineup, even if some of it was complete stupid. Either way, I'm definitely looking forward to this. This will be my second ever World Finals. Hopefully next year, third time's a charm and they get their things figured out. But until then, I'm definitely looking forward to this show. Is there anything specifically that's really going to stand out to you here?
Well, the one thing that does stick out is, unfortunately, I will not be at World Finals this year. I am going to be in Vegas for my brother's 21st birthday. That's unrelated, but I am going to watch the live streams for the World Finals. I'm going to do it. And yeah, it'll just be very interesting. Yes, we all have our takes with the lineups, and I personally think the track design I think it's better than last year's. Last year's was
for
very
sure
good for racing. It was good for racing. I loved it. Freestyle was 100% lackluster, but looking at the track this year, racing's going to be about the same, if not better, and freestyle can only go up from here.
Yeah, and I mean, I know I said this was a little too similar to Nashville, but the one thing that I think it really does well is it gives potential for both major competitions. I'll give them that.
Yeah.
And racing will be very exciting. Well, I'll be excited to see what new schemes they release. I know Megalodon looks great and Gravedigger looks awful.
Yeah.
I wish, you know what? Can they just call up Jim and be like, hey Jim, can you put the skull back on? No one likes this at all.
No.
We need the ghost back.
No, seriously, what would they... If you get rid of Gravedigger's ghost, that's like one of the main things that makes Gravedigger Gravedigger.
The thing that makes it so much more disappointing is it would look incredible if they just added the ghost back and nothing else. It would be probably my favorite Gravedigger scheme of the 2020s by far.
Yeah.
If they just fixed that.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
one thing we can mention as well is that they're bringing back the Walmart tour.
Oh boy.
So that Gravedigger will be traveling around.
Oh boy.
Yeah. Yeah. So when we see it in person, we'll have our criticisms or
our moments.
Yeah.
Maybe
Exactly.
it'll look better in person, like Thunder Roars did.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I remember when that truck was first released and people were like,
Everyone was upset. Everyone was upset. But now, it's not that bad.
Yeah, I like the design personally. I think it looks cool.
Yeah. And I'm glad we brought that one thing up. Last thing I want to mention is the schemes. We've seen Meg, we've seen Digger. I'll say we'll probably see El Toro. there's 2 Sparkle Smashes, so I don't... Okay, an American flag Sparkle Smash would look extremely stupid, but I think we'll at least get some sort of Sparkle Smash scheme of sorts.
Yeah.
Obviously the Independence, I think... I'm not sure that Lil Zim will, but obviously Jim will have one. Mike might. I mean, Tomfoolery, I'll say their chassis aren't the best, but they always deliver with their bodies.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So I'll be excited to see what other trucks get the 4th of July treatment going forward. Aside from that, this is building up to be quite the event. So I'll be interested to see where things go moving forward and what new news we end up receiving. In the meantime, we are going to have a few here or there arena events going on. And I know Throwdown is headed to Salinas pretty soon, which is a pretty cool show. So I'll be hoping to see some videos of that. But we're going into a little bit of the off season here with Monster Jam, as we do. Might do a BeamNG event tomorrow for those of you who are into that. Now that I'm on break from school, I got plenty of time for that. Deegan, what plans you got coming up for your channel?
Well, let's see. We're trying to get back into filming. Like Jack, I've been done with my freshman year of college since, like, the very end of April. And I've kind of been in the job hunting process for a while.
Oh, boy.
Yeah. But I got a lot of time. I got videos. We're back into the sign-up series. And for now, when it comes to my next event, I want to say it's going to be Evansville, Indiana. Nothing is in the books quite yet. I have tickets because I know some people. Shout out to Extreme. You know who you are. But it's all going to come down to, like, ticket pricing for flights. But, yeah, I mean, that would definitely be something to look out for. Other than that,
of course, we got Glendale.
Yeah, of course we got Glendale. I overheard that it might be October 25th.
Oh, we got a late bloomer today.
Yeah. So take that however you want. But
hey,
from what I've heard.
Hey, I mean, have you been looking at the postseason lineups lately? I mean, we are in for a ride if ours looks anything like this. We better be getting the Zimmers.
Oh, dude, please let me see John Zimmer Sr. on Uproar. Please, that would be awesome.
Also, just something to put out there. Might be interesting to watch what else Monster Jam does promoting around that Daytona, Florida area. You never know. You know?
Yeah, that is true. You do bring up a very good point.
It's an interesting stop, you know? You never know what they might do there, but hey, tons of big news coming up as we move into the World Finals and postseason. Now, the World Finals is at a really weird spot this year in that we still have almost a month and a half to wait, but I'm sure that will be full of anticipation. I'm very much looking forward to seeing this star-studded lineup, including a couple fake studs, maybe some plastic ones. That's besides the point. You know, it's not always all diamonds and gold when you're mining. Sometimes you gotta find that coal. But
there is no way you just pulled out a Minecraft reference on a Monster Jam live stream, but okay.
Hey, I mean, that's just how it goes. There's still so many incredible drivers. We all hate the format, but if it works, it works. You know, it's gonna not feel like a World Finals, but as long as we still have that 3-day action, that's what really matters. Can't wait to see how things go. Can't wait to watch these guys throw it down. And, I mean, you guys at home and Deacon yourself, I mean, even just the live streams are such a blast to watch. I remember when they first streamed the World Finals, it was only the skills and high jump competitions in 2023, and that was still such an unreal feeling. So,
oh yeah,
still something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, hope you guys enjoy our predictions. Just gonna skim through this one more time. Mike for LCQ, Zach for high jump, Weston for skills, Dalton for racing, Jim for freestyle. Let me know what you guys think down below, or for those of you here right now, if you want to try to squeeze in one more chat, go ahead. But yeah, I'll be interested to see how this goes, and any final closing thought here?
Not really. I mean, as a fan, I'm really excited. Everyone has their opinions on the format, but nothing we can do at this point. I'm really pumped up to see what's gonna happen. I mean, starting with the LCQ, that lineup is so stacked, and so seeing that in the winner of the LCQ is just gonna get everyone so hyped up for this event.
Oh, absolutely. There's just so much to take in here. It's gonna be huge. It's gonna be amazing. You know what? Hey, everyone has something to look forward to here. If you had to pinpoint one competition that you really are excited for, what would it be?
Oh boy, LCQ, man, really.
You know what? Hell yeah. That's a great lineup.
It is such a stacked lineup. Obviously, there are a couple people snubbed from that lineup, but overall, it's so good. It really is. So I'll be very interested to see what driver and what truck can take on that racing course.
Super pumped. And you know what? There's been a lot of rough patches with this show, but I'd like to believe that it's all uphill from here. And I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Huge news coming up. Probably going to be some new schemes. You never know. And yeah, thank you all for coming out to this stream. Thank you, Deegan, for co-hosting. This has been a very fun couple hours. And want to say any special goodbyes here?
In the words of my good buddy Mac Bulldog Mac, I'm gonna catch you guys on the rails.
Oh yeah, we'll see you all next time. Thanks for coming out.